So it's been a while since I've checked out the One Piece anime, but I'm glad I checked it out tonight because this episode was off the chain and it really reminded me of how much One Piece used to be something that was just like a religious watch for me, because I used to watch One Piece every Saturday, no matter what, unless there was a break or whatever. I used to watch that shit every Saturday, and it just reminded me of the greatness that I loved about the One Piece anime, because the One Piece anime may have its problems and everything, but episodes like this one reminded me, yeah, One Piece can be pretty fucking awesome sometimes. I love getting to see Law's character and how much of a real motherfucker he is in this episode, where he's like, I'm gonna die with Luffy or I'm gonna witness him take this motherfucker down. It just shows how truthful and how real Law is, because like another motherfucker be like, yo, get me the fuck up out of here. But seeing Law's character through and through shows that he's just a really awesome dude. He's a really awesome dude. He's like, I got him into this mess. It was my bullshit that dragged him into this fight with Doflamingo, so I'm gonna make sure I see him through to the end. And I mean, like, even dudes like Cavendish really shine in this episode. Like when Cavendish showed up and he saved Robin, he's like, I'm gonna stay here with Law as well. Like even Cavendish was pretty awesome. Now granted, his reasoning might not be like Law's. His is like, ooh, fame and popularity, I can smell it from a mile away, I'm staying here too. But nonetheless, it made him look awesome as well. So when you know Cavendish and some of the lower people, like the C rank people, so to speak, are looking cool and looking dope, One Piece is doing something right. And I think it also built up the relationship between Luffy and Doflamingo, that is not just, oh well, we finally, you know, met up and had a fight or whatever. The fact that Don has been watching him since the Crocodile fight, since Luffy defeated Crocodile, he's been keeping his eye on him, shows that Don has been planning this for a while. And when he saw that D in the middle, Monkey D Luffy, he's been wanting to take this motherfucker out for a while. So definitely getting a little bit more into Doflamingo and what he's about. And he's just really been wanting to fuck Luffy up for a minute. He's like, I'm keeping my eye on this motherfucker. And as far as the animation goes, I mean, it's One Piece. It's not going to be the most greatest thing in the world, but it looked pretty freaking cool. The art looked pretty nice as well. They definitely had a lot of nice shots there. And I mean, when Luffy and Don was just clashing back and forth, it was just like, yo, this is the One Piece anime that I love to see. Granted, yes, it's action, and some people are going to say, you just want to see action, but for an action set, this episode really just kicked ass. Luffy and Don going at it, and it kind of reminded me of like a Dragon Ball Z-esque type of situation, like when Goku would go, okay, I'm going to try fighting him Super Saiyan 1. Let's try Super Saiyan 2. Let's try Super Saiyan 3, because Luffy went gear second. Didn't work. You know, first he fought him normal. Didn't work. Went gear second. Didn't work. Tried gear third. Grizzly Magnum looking sick as fuck, and it still didn't work. So it really gave a reasoning to go to that gear fourth. It's like, it's not just, well, fuck it, we're gonna go full blazing. It's like, let me try and see if I don't have to use that, because definitely the way they ended the episode, the cliffhanger was like, oh my gosh, you know everybody's gonna want to see that next episode. But it had a reasoning. It was like, I tried with everything I had up until this point and it didn't work, so I gotta go to that. And yeah, that's classic shonen, and a lot of people, oh, it's a cliche, but I don't give a fuck, because it was handled nicely and One Piece did it right. Like this episode of One Piece was the shit, and again, it just reminded me and made me remember how awesome One Piece was, and it made me miss it. And honestly, I'm like, yo, I've been missing out. I really enjoyed this episode, and it really just was bringing an awesome action piece. And little glimpses of Dawn's power as well, where you see the strings coming from the ground and shit like that, setting up for further things. It's like, this episode kicked ass. And again, like, I don't know if I'll continue reviewing the One Piece anime weekly and stuff like that. I know I might be following it for the next few episodes, because Gear 4th is hype as fuck, and I'm looking forward to seeing it animated or whatever. But yeah, I definitely miss One Piece, and I'm so glad I checked this week's episode out, because it was very fucking good. Again, it had its little One Piece problems, whereas like, you know, we're seeing the crowd running, and you know, it's kind of going a little bit slow when Luffy's like, yes, it's time, and like we got to see his arm moving. But fuck it, whatever, it's One Piece. You have to know this by this point, you know, 700 something episodes in, that One Piece is like that. But yeah, glad to be back on board for now at the very least. Let me know what you guys think if you checked it out. If you haven't seen One Piece in a while, now it's a good point to definitely give it a look again, because the anime is pretty freaking awesome right now, and it's some really climactic moments. Luffy versus Doflamingo going into Gear 4th. It's gonna be hype, and this episode was hype as well. Like Law being all fucked up and shit like that, the promise and everything, like just really awesome stuff. Hey, overall thoughts, I mean, again, check out One Piece. If you haven't watched it in a while, I think these are some good episodes to return to the series, and who knows, maybe I could do the next 2 or 3 years straight up Saturday reviewing One Piece if I'm really feeling like how I feel tonight, because this episode, it got me in the hype zone. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this video, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.